good morning, happy Monday, and welcome to the Fogcast with me, Jake from Harlow Town Fans TV, otherwise known as Foghorn. And you can notice the Christmas jumper. This is the Christmas special. Of course, it'll be the last video recorded before Christmas. Next week's video, obviously next Monday's Christmas Eve, so I'm probably going to do next week's video on Thursday or Friday of next week to cover the Boxing Day games. Now, we'll start off as we always do. We'll go into the scores and then we'll go into this week's content that's been sent in via Johnny Drummond of Billingham Town in their 5-3 win over Washington Town. And then we'll go in to Chris from the Blue Army Ultras of Wingate's review of their 2-0 win in the FA Trophy against Dulwich Hamlet. So I'll catch up with you after that.
Hey, it's Chris from Blue Army Ultras, and yesterday, well, because it's Sunday for me, we beat Dulwich Hamlet. Wingate eventually beat Dulwich Hamlet 2-0. Dulwich are in the league above, and it's a FA Trophy. So now that we're through, it's the furthest Wingate eventually have ever been in the competition. The goal scorers were Rob Blaney, he scored both of them on his birthday. The second goal was a really good effort. As well in the game, there was a really weird goal scramble. It looked like a glitch from FIFA, and also the weather was really bad. We're lucky we went through. We've been very good in the FA Trophy this season, unlike our league form, and hopefully we get a good draw, a favourable draw, either a hard team away or I don't even know. All right. Anyway, subscribe to Foghorn, and yes.
Hello subscribers of the Fogcast, welcome to beautiful Billy Town, where we're taking on Washington Town, currently top of the league still, on a 20-game unbeaten streak, which is unprecedented at this level. We've got a special guest today here, Marvellous Mikey. She's from Perth, Australia.
G'day.
Put a ship on the barbie, mate.
G'day. Looking forward to the game today. Hoping for a bit of a kangaroo running across the harbour there.
And can we have an Australian up the town?
That's not a football club. This is a football club.
He's right back as well.
Town remain 20 games unbeaten and top of the league with a very hard-fought 5-3 win against Washington. Town was 5-0 with 4 goals from Ashravan before a brave comeback by Washington. But thankfully Town hung on to take the points. That's me signing off for the podcast. Up the Town!
Well, they were the results and the content that's been sent in. Thank you very much to Johnny and Chris. Thank you to the promotional sponsors, as always, LMV Fitness, M&M Football Academy and DC Development Coaching. Now, the eagle-eyed of you over my social media will notice that I have now officially sponsored by a loser pool betting company. That will run from January, so you'll get more input in the videos from then. Also, you may have noticed I accidentally forgot to put the Essex Senior League fixtures within the video, within the actual print screens. So the Essex Senior League results from the weekend were Leighton Athletic 0, Hoddesdon Town 2, Redbridge 1, Sporting Bengal 2, Saffron Walden 3, Stansted 5, Sawbridgeworth 2, Stanway Rovers 0, St Margaret's 3 1, Enfield 2, West Essex 2 and Take Lee 5. Now there's a lot of content that's written down today and talking points and some of this off the cuff, so if I keep looking down I do apologise. Now the second thing to mention in the news bit, so to speak, Epping beat Corinthians 1-0. My mate Bradley, the goalkeeper for Epping, made a crucial penalty save, which is his first ever save of a penalty, he tells me, at any level. Also, last week we spoke about the takeover situation at Billericay. It's unclear whether that's actually officially confirmed yet. All that we do know is that it will be happening. And since speaking about the players that left last Monday when we discussed this, Jamie O'Hara has left Billericay on a mutual agreement, and it clearly stated within the statement that he left that with the new venture at the club, it was best for both parties. So we can make that conclusion as you will. Obviously, that's not for me to guess. Also, as we're going into the Christmas break, I'm just going to run down who's at top of the league within the leagues we specifically cover in terms of the scores. And the conference top of the league is one of my boys, Leighton Orient. Top of the conference south is Torquay United, and it still feels very, very weird that a team of Torquay United stature is actually within the conference south, but they look to be getting back up to the conference next season if it does stay like this. The Boston Premier, the top of the league, was Tonbridge Angels for ages, but they've kind of fallen off the gas now, and it's actually Lewis FC. Now this season everyone's beating everyone, and no disrespect to Billericay or Dulwich, but I think having them two out of the division now has opened the league up dramatically for the teams in it. Now, the top of a Bostic South Central, they rhyme with Harlow, but they're not Harlow, it's Marlow FC. Top of the Bostic South East is Cray Wanderers. Top of the Bostic North is Bowers and Pitsea. And top of the Essex Senior is Stansted FC. Of course, Takeley would top for a bit, then Holbridge would top for a bit, and then that's a very, very open league, and now Stansted at the top going into the Christmas break. Now, this video is actually going to end a bit on a light-hearted way. It's actually going to be the video that you've all probably seen by now. But at the time, this video hadn't gone viral. But since then, BBC have picked it up, BT have picked it up, The Guardian have picked it up. It's actually the goal line scramble between Wingate, Finchley and Dulwich. Luckily for Wingate, they can laugh about it now because they ended up winning the game 2-0. So we'll look at that at the end. Now, for some of you on Twitter may have seen that today's show was going to cover the football, as we said, and go in to a bit, you'll see a bit of Jake rather than a bit of Foghorn today. But first of all, let's talk about the game I went to at the weekend. Of course, I was meant to be at the Woodford Town game, but that got called off because there was problems at Harlow Football Club within the Friday night. Unfortunately, they were rectified, but they weren't rectified till 6 o'clock, and obviously Southend Manor couldn't travel down, so the S16 League took the responsibility of postponing the game at 4 o'clock. Now I went to Harlow versus Leatherhead. I won't put any highlights in the vlog. If you want to see that vlog, it is on the channel. Now Harlow were 2-0 down, and I think it's fair to say, even the Harlow Town players that will watch this, you weren't great. The weather did play a big part in it. The only person I will say that was magnificent in the first half was Josh Beckson. Unlucky with the first goal. On a dry day, he would have saved it. It was just because it was wet. But Leatherhead should have been 4 or 5-0 up. And at one point, their manager even jumped up and went, how many chances do we want to squander? And sometimes you can afford to miss those chances. But in this case, you couldn't. Harlow got a goal direct from the free kick, low and hard, in the weather again by Tommy Hitchcock, and Nathan Corringerton with an absolute belter from underneath, that hit the underneath of the crossbar and went in to make it 2-2. You're going to take 2-2 all day long. But then, I think it must have literally been the last kick of the game. Now the lino's put his flag up. And I was like, well, it's not offside. It can't be offside. Because there's 4 defenders in the way. And when the ball was played, it's not offside. So I thought maybe there was a foul, maybe he's flagged up for something and the refs just have missed it. I thought maybe there's a foul on a Harlow player and he let the play carry on. We score, we all go nuts. I look over to the line, no referees disallowed to go. But being 2-0 down, I will take a 2-2 against Leatherhead. This week, as you know, there is no football. No football I'm going to anyway. Next game I'll be going to is Boxing Day, which I believe is next Wednesday. Hence why next week's podcast will be on the Friday. Now, you're going to see a little picture pop up, which is going to be called Thanks from the Podcast. So that's going to pop up, and then we're going to go into the next segment of the show. For some reason, this picture won't turn around, but this is meant to say thanks from the podcast. Right, so on this week's show, obviously it being Christmas, it's not going to be the last podcast of the year. But going into the Christmas special, Christmas is about a time of reflection, eating lots of food, getting fat, and the giving and receiving of gifts. Now, I've wrote a script for this because if I do it off the top of my head, I will not be able to do it. So you're going to have to bear with me while I look down. But there'll be a couple of footballers that are watching this, that are being told to watch this, and other people, and this is the reason why. So I'll get a bit real with you prior to I start what I've scripted down. Every Monday when I record the podcast, I usually record it between 8:30 and 9:30. Why? Mum's dropping the kids off at school and usually she goes to work or she goes shopping or she does something. Sometimes in the evenings, I'll have work on a Monday, but between that, every week, I'll have counselling. It did start off on a Tuesday, but then I went into college, so then I went back to the Monday. Now, as some of the viewers know, 2018 has been an extremely hard and challenging year for me. But it has had its plus sides as well. And now we're going to stay on the script. So I do apologise if I bore you, but it's just something I really wanted to do. I am getting more out there and stuff like that. And my mental health is improving. But this needs to be said because I'm not one of these people that just takes help and dismisses it. So, staying on the script from now, I won't go into the details regarding my mental health, as this is a football show. But as it's a Christmas special, I want to thank some people for their help that made some of my darkest days not so dark. Now, first of all, we should start with where I started using football as a medication rather than just a hobby and just something to vlog. Now, Epping FC invited me to their pre-season game against Walthamstow. That was actually after the World Cup. It was actually on the day of the fourth qualifier that England played in. And they actually let me play in the game, played about 3 or 4 minutes. And this was the first time since being diagnosed with depression that I actually felt happy and I wasn't faking a smile for everyone else's pleasure. And for that, I really do have to thank Epping and of course their manager Billy Cove. Obviously Billy Cove could have said no, but he got me on for 3-4 minutes at the end. Unfortunately, Craig Pope wasn't on the pitch, but that was that, and you've got to thank him for making you so special, feel so special on that day. Now, this is where I actually got the idea for the charity game that we'll discuss later on. Now, that is something that Billy Cove really helped me with. He was one of the kind of first people that got me the contacts that kind of the ball rolled on from there. Now, I'd quote from many clubs, many football clubs, and I didn't actually get a quote that was justifiable or that I could afford. I will say, with the exception of Paddington Sports Centre in Harlow, they did offer to give me the pitch for free. But health and safety, you wouldn't be allowed to get a lot of people there. Then a gentleman called Ant Smith contacted me, and he's actually the chairman of Concord Rangers, and he offered me this facilities for free and even made the kits for the occasion. I had ideas of the kits I wanted, and I thought he was just going to print the logo over the old kits, but he actually did it over new kits. So obviously thanks to him and Jacko for them, and Jacko's obviously the make. Now, unfortunately, the game got called off due to heavy rain, which was probably one of the worst days of my life in that period. And it was especially annoying that come 2 o'clock, it was bright sunshine, but what can you do? Now, this will be played in May, and I've got to thank every single one of the players that committed to that game, the photographers, the ref, the physio, the people that were going to sell sweets on the stall, and the Concord Rangers social media team. I know they get a lot of criticism from outside parties, but you can't knock them. The things they do are absolutely incredible. So I've got to thank you very much for them. Sammy Moore. Now, I know Sammy from his time at Orion and from the time bantering him as a Leatherhead manager. But he really got behind this. He's Concord Rangers manager, for those that don't know. And he really helped me kind of step into that role of being focused on the game. And I really do look forward to May. Obviously, the night before we knew it was going to be torrential rain, obviously he's the manager of one of the clubs, and he said I could do the team talk, and basically he's just there to help me rather than me help him, which I thought was absolutely magnificent. Another guy that needs big credit is Billy Knott. Now, I'll be honest, I'd never ever heard of Billy Knott. I didn't know who he was. I'd never heard of him. But he's actually a Concord Rangers player now, ex-Bradford, so on. But he really helped me with getting through, getting players, with his ex-Chelsea connections from his youth days at Chelsea. And this was one of the only people at the time, and believe me, this was a very dark time when I started organising this in May, June time. June, July time, sorry. I could actually truly open up to, and his advice really helped me out. And for that, I'll be ever so grateful for the rest of my life. And literally it is, what you notice is I'm reading and then adding stuff to this, but literally, just regardless of who it was, whether he was a footballer or whether he's the local butcher, to actually have somebody that speaks to you that's been through it themselves, I'm not going to go into that too much, that's none of my business. He really did help out, and you've got to commend him for that. He's brilliant. I don't want to go into too much about it, because obviously I have said a lot about that in the past, but for those that don't know, Billy Knott, absolute top man, all go and follow him on Twitter, and he's slowly coming back from his injury, so best of luck with that. Now, Bertie Brayley, he's an ex-West Ham player. I'm going to add ex-Harlow Town. He didn't play for long, but he did play for us. That's the main thing. Canvey Island, and he was a manager at Burn Ramblers, so on and so forth. Now, he actually allowed me to do a telephone interview with him about depression within football for college. And this was my first telephone interview. I was absolutely nervous. I'm still frail now, but I was a lot frailer at that time. And he did the interview with me, and he told me some, I wouldn't say magnificent things, because they are quite heartwarming and thought-provoking, but he told me a lot of stuff that I didn't think I'd get out of the interview. But it wasn't the interview itself. There are many kind words that were said after, but to hear the words, "you should be proud of yourself," actually made me cry in a happy way. And I'll be man enough to admit that. I broke down crying after that interview. I didn't do it on the phone because I wanted it to be professional. And it was actually kind of mad. Now, going to Woodford Town FC, of course, you see some of their highlights. You sometimes see their manager, or one of their assistant managers within the video. Now, Woodford Town FC, I first learned of Woodford on a Thursday night. Now, I won't go into the details again, because it's a football show, but a Thursday night, it was a very dark and scary night for me. The next day, I went to watch him play at the Harlows ground with one of my pals, Tony, and then I continued going to the games after that. And this gave me more football to focus on. It got me out of the house. It gave me something else to have a purpose for. And it really, you've got to thank Dee Safar, Ross Weir, Neil Day, Lloyd Dudridge, one of the supporters, the players and the parents, that have all made me feel like I have another purpose, belonging, and they've helped me kick on with this podcast massively. They've helped me kick on with my channel. I've tried new things with them, and brilliant, mate. It's absolutely brilliant. Now, somebody that you definitely won't have heard of, unless you are one of my pals watching this, is Will, the Harlow Spartans manager. Now, Harlow Spartans are my Sunday League team, and the gaffer has supported me and encouraged me, even when I play poorly. He always takes the positives. I could have the worst performance ever. I could literally get a 1.1 rating on FIFA, so to speak, and he would focus on what I've done as a 1.1 to not make me feel that I've done that bad. And most of the team do that for me as well. And although I'm taking a break out because of their commitment and studying commitments, for a guy with no confidence away from the camera, means 100 times more. So he's slowly becoming my favourite ginger. Probably should say that, my brother and uncle are ginger, but thank you very much to Will for that. Thanks to all the Harlow Town personnel, players and fans for being there for me. You know who you are. Thanks to Johnny Drummond and the Billingham Town Barmy, as I'll call them for this, for all your support, for buying the merchandise. It's absolutely incredible. Thank you. It really does mean so much. It may mean nothing to you, but it means so much to me. Thanks to Chris from Wingate and Finchley, who I actually met after I was invited by the ex-Northwood gaffer Dean Barker and Ben. They invited me to get behind the scenes for a vlog, so thank you to them. Thanks to James Beardwell for the content he sent in, and thanks to everyone else that's getting involved. Thanks to critic Darren, who makes some of the artwork that you see on this channel. And Ray from Vast Media. If you haven't seen Vast Media, he's a cameraman. They do a lot of interviews with John Sitton. They do the John Sitton podcast. Go and check that out. But last and not least, I want to speak about a player called Dean Cox. Now, Dean Cox, for those who don't know, is a former Brighton and Crawley player. And he's a current Eastbourne Borough player. But how I know him is from his time at Leyton Orient. Now, as a 14-year-old onwards, this lad was my hero. And still to this day, my favourite ever player that wore an orange shirt. That I saw anyway. Now, Coxie is also getting involved within the charity game, which is huge for me and a memory that will last a lifetime. Playing with my childhood hero, mate, I can't wait. Now, Coxie has supported my channel, one of the promotional sponsors, a lot. Also, me in general. Now, by having chats with me, so I pronounced that wrong, sorry. Support me in general by having chats with me from football, or away from football rather, over Messenger, etc. And really on a human level, away from the fact that he's a footballer and he was one of my favourite footballers as a kid. He's one of the nicest guys, and honestly those messages when I'm down, mate, mean so much to me. And it really, really does make me feel happy. You probably don't see yourself as a hero because you're down and you're modest. But the only way I can kind of explain it is if the tables returned and perhaps someone like David Beckham, who was one of your heroes at Man United, was doing the same. It's probably that same kind of thing. I could say more, but I'll be here forever. I'm just very glad that you're now enjoying your football at Eastbourne Borough. Obviously, the way Orient treated you was absolutely criminal. I can't wait to play in this match with you and everyone else. Now, of course, there's people outside the football community that have been there and helped me with other things. If I named all them, it would turn into a show about my life, and I don't want that. I wanted it to stay within the football community because, quite honestly, I don't want people just watching this channel because of the depression. I'm not going to sit here and say it's really, really, really bad. No, it's not. Is there relapses? Yes. But what I will say, going into, as this is Christmas special and it's a time of giving, I'm going to give something back to you. Follow your dreams. Do what you got to do. I got told when I made this channel back in February, when it just used to be interviewing the Harlow fans, that this will never, ever, ever pick up. It will never do well. And it is doing well. If you look at it I don't mean this big-headedly, but I work with such a niche market. I'm never expected to get 100 million views. I'm never expected to get 100,000 subscribers. It's Harlow Town Fans TV. We got 160 through the door Saturday. But I started doing the podcast, and that was my focus. So if you are a man or a lady just watching this and you are feeling down, get a focus. It might not be vlogging, doesn't have to be vlogging. It can be whatever you want it to be, but just go with a focus. And if you're young, if you're a kid watching this, I've made mistakes. I've done stupid things in my past. I dropped out of journalism when I was 17 because I didn't want to be known as a journo scum. I'm now 23, having to have left a job that was well paid to go back and follow my dreams. I could have been there by now. This could have been in an office. Do you know what I mean? It could have been. So follow your dreams. But anyway, I don't want it to end so gloomy, so let's get back to the football. Now, first of all, going into next year, we will officially be sponsored by Loserpool, as said earlier. On the 7th of January, I will be going to do the Isthmian show on the Monday, which is live. So you'll still get your podcast, but then I'll be on that in the evening. And the following Monday, which I believe the date is the 14th, I'll be on the Odds and Evens radio show. So if you haven't seen him, go and check him out. We do it once a month with music and discussions on non-league football. Now, I'm going to end this show before we see the goal line scramble from Wingate and Finchley versus Dulwich by thanking you all for your support and just saying Merry Christmas to everyone, Merry Christmas to the supporters, Merry Christmas to, I hate using this word, but my fans. I don't see myself as having fans, I see myself as I have content viewers. And thank you so much to everyone that gets involved. Merry Christmas to all the people I mentioned before in that thank you to Fogcast bit. Merry Christmas to everyone. Enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy your break. Hope you get all you want from Santa Claus. And I will catch up with you in terms of the Fogcast next Thursday or next Friday. Thanks always for watching. We got 217 views as of this morning, so we smashed my view total. Let's go for 200 views again, and let's go for 10 likes. As always, it's been me, Jake from the Fogcast. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you want any merchandise, you need to get there quick to get it before Christmas. You know where to go. Thanks for watching this. Thanks for allowing me to open up a little bit more into my personal life. Merry Christmas and goodbye.
Oh! Oh! Come on! Come on! Oh! Oh!